Today I'm back with another 5-pound mystery lot of world coins that I bought off of eBay. And before I cut this open, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I look for when I look for world coin lots on eBay. I have spent probably it's 2026, and I've spent pretty much every day over the last 2 months, I've gone on eBay and looked for bulk lots. And 95% of the time, I don't see anything that I find very interesting. There are a lot of dealers that will probably purchase bulk lots from somebody else, take what they want, and then raise the price so that they at least break even. But they have to raise the price because they're going to have their own shipping fees, they're going to have their own eBay fees. And so I'm seeing a lot of dealers that will have 1 pound of world coins at $30. Or they'll have 2 to 5 pounds at $20 each. And for sometimes, if it's a really good lot, you might think that's worth it. But other times, I'm able to find dealers that have lots for $10, $12, $13. When I was buying off of eBay in the 2010s, it was easy to find lots under $10 a pound, but that's really difficult now. So to me, one of the keys that I'm looking for is in their eBay listing, are they showing you the coins that you are purchasing? Or do they just have a large pile of coins and say, this is a stock photos, this is sort of going to be like what you're getting? Or they might say, they might be selling 4 lots of coins and they've just piled all of them together and they say your coins will come out of this pile. I avoid those because I always figure if there's something good, you're probably not getting it. Maybe someone is, maybe they're honest that it's going to somebody, but I really prefer, most of the time, I prefer the lots where they have, this is the picture of what you're getting. But I also look for bargains. I have enough world coins that if I'm paying $20 or $30 a pound, it's probably not worth it to me, especially since I can get some pretty good coin lots at certain shows that I go to. So this lot right here, the reason I went for it was a couple of reasons. One, it was an authentic coin dealer, which doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy something from a coin dealer. Some of my best things this year were not coin dealers. They didn't know what they had, but they priced it to move. And so I got it at a good price. This one was a legit coin dealer, and they don't do world coins all the time. And so this is probably just inventory that maybe they run a small coin store, and they're just mailing off the stuff that they don't need in their store. So maybe that's what it is. This is a 5-pound lot. They had it priced to move. I thought this was less than $10 a pound. And their picture was, this is what you're getting. And as I was looking in the picture, I saw one coin that I did not recognize. So hopefully that means that I didn't have it. That's a plus. I found one silver coin, obvious on top in the picture. It was a 30% silver coin, and we're probably going to find it here in a moment. And so that tells me that silver is possible in a lot. If there's only one silver coin and they know about it, they're going to put it on top to make sure you see it. But with silver as expensive as it is these days, that coin's still worth $5. And so that's one way that I stack silver is just with some of these low value silver coins. I think that's, a good way for me to just set it off to the side. There was also, after I purchased those 2 coins that I saw, one I didn't recognize, one silver coin, made me thought it was worth buying this lot when it was a cheaper than average lot. But after I made the purchase, I went back and studied the photo, and I saw another coin that looked like, if that's what I think it is, it's a really good coin, but I wasn't completely sure what it was. And it looked like a silver coin, but on further inspection, I think it was a copper coin that just the lighting on it or something made it look like a silver coin. I can only see like a small little part of it, but we're going to see if that's really a highly valuable silver coin or if it's just the copper coin that I thought it was. But there could be more silver coins in here. So I've talked long enough. Let me cut this box open. I'll certainly say that this seller did a good job at putting enough tape on here that certainly nothing is going to fall out of this box in transit. So looks like they have individual bags in here. So here's one bag, and it's just going to be two bags and a packing slip in there. So let's go ahead and get those out of the way. All right, so we've got two bags. These also Ziploc bags seem to be taped up pretty good, so there's going to need to come some more, get some more tape off of here. Well, I got enough tape off of this first one that things are just going to start falling out here, I think. So let's go ahead and pour this out. See some good things already. Some things that I didn't know about are going to be in here. And flipped it around a little bit, but this seems to be an older mix of coins than what we normally find. And so this one right here immediately gets my attention. I know I've seen coins like this before, but I can't think immediately offhand what it is. Probably Turkey. I see a number 20 in Arabic right here. So right away, I've got something that I have to look up. I think that's going to be, well, here we have a 10, the top of the coin, and a year of, I think that's 1277 on the Arabic calendar, so roughly the late 1800s, maybe early 1900s on that. So first coin to pick up is something that I'm going to have to look up before we're done with. Older copper coin, we've got Vittorio Emanuele II of Italy. A little bit corroded. That's a 10 centesimi from 1866 with an N mint mark. So that's a good one. Then another old copper coin. This is a 1 sen from Japan. A little corroded on that one. This copper coin is from Straits Settlement, 1 cent from the year 1900. So even though it's 1900, they have an older head design from Queen Victoria on that one. Here's a coin with the hole in it and damage. Well, I guess this is an old British penny, but that's tough to figure out what that one is. Might be a token instead of a penny, but we're already finding some really old copper coins in here. I don't pull these very often. From India when they were British controlled, this is a 4 annas featuring George V from 1920. I don't think this one's going to be a silver coin, but it is an old coin, and I don't find the 4 annas very often. I've gone ahead and found the silver coin that I mentioned earlier. This one is a 30% silver coin, but it's a 50 centavos. It's a large enough coin. That's probably United States quarter sized, and so that's the day that I bought it. I looked it up since I knew this was coming. That is about $5 worth of silver just in that one coin. Might be hard to get $5 for it, but that's a good thing. I see a rusty iron coin, so what is this? That's interesting. I think what we have here is a German Notgeld coin made out of iron. So emergency money where localities, municipalities, and states made their own temporary coinage around a little bit after World War I in this case. Dated 1921, 25 pennies. This is amazing, and I did not see it in the picture. $25 Pfennig with Straterm. Well, I'm already starting a pile of coins that I'm going to have to look up on here. Here's a Canadian half dollar from 1969. Seems like a different design than what I remember. I don't remember the that little piece of it. I think that was no longer silver by 1969, but here we have a Mexican centavo from 1886. Pretty well worn. We've got a French 1854. I think that's a 10 centimes. A very similar coin, 1864. This one's in better shape. I find that coin very often, but this one actually you can see a couple of details on it. And you have to make sure you can see the mint mark on it, which is a double B on this one. Because in your catalog, every coin is going to have, or every mint is going to have a different catalog number on it. So that one's in pretty good shape. Well, let me just keep on picking up these old copper coins. This one is a Canadian large cent from 1915 with George V. Obviously, again, well worn, but neat to find stuff like that. Here's our third French. That one has a single B mint mark on it. Then another 10 centesimi from 1863. So that was one of the first ones that we found. And more copper. We've got another one here from France with a single, looks like that one's a single B. That one's too well worn. This one I think is from Portugal. It's going to be a 20 Reis. From 1892, featuring King Carlos I. So not too rare, but it's a little bit rarer than the British and the French and the Italian copper coins. There's another French coin from 1855. That one has an A, no, a K mint mark on that one. Maybe some people wouldn't like all these old slick coins, but I do think it makes for interesting variety. 1902 on this one, a little more discolored, but Edward VII on a Canadian large cent. Got a little bit of damage there at the top. That one's decent. 1902. A 1 centavo from the Philippines when it was controlled by the United States. 1944 is the easiest year to find, and we've got an S for San Francisco. Mint mark on that one. Here's one with Queen Elizabeth on it. From Malaya and British Borneo from 1961. So that was soon before the creation of Malaysia. Here's one that I've been eyeing for a bit. 2.5 centesimos of a Balboa from Panama. I'm going to have to come back and look. That's another one I'm going to have to come back and look up on here. From Colombia, 1977. That's a 2 pesos. So definitely some well-worn coins in here. I always like getting the Australian kangaroo pennies. There's a French from 1898, 10 centimes. Another well-worn British penny. What's the date on that one? 1881, maybe? Probably 1891 with the old head of Queen Victoria. That one is going to be Spain. Very slick coin there. Here's another slick Victorian penny with the younger head design. At least we can see the age on that one was 1876. Shame this one is well worn, but here is the millennium celebrating 10 pesos from Mexico. They made these in 2000 and 2001, so a little bit of an alternate design from their normal 10 pesos. Here's a larger coin that is old but not made out of copper. This one is a copper nickel. 400 race from Brazil. They had the date spelled out in Roman numerals of 1901 on here. Well, this is the coin that I didn't recognize, and now I see it's a token. And Aquarius. You will succeed. Your lucky numbers. So, sad that the one coin that I didn't recognize that was in the photo isn't really worth anything to me. Here's a nice one from Japan. This one's going to be a 10 sen. This side is up. That one's close to being a desirable coin, but a little bit too dirty there. From Uganda, we've got this 10 cents. From 1968, that was early after they were no longer controlled by the British. We've got another French. That one has an M. That one's a little bit smaller than some of the other ones we've seen. Here's a good one. I had this coin as in proof. I don't know if I've ever found this as a circulating coin. Featuring a couple of crocodiles on here, we've got the Papua New Guinea dollar. Or maybe they call it the kuna. It's 1K. These don't come around very often in bulk lots. 1975. So the one of those that I had was years ago. All right, so I keep saying I'm going to pause and find the good stuff. So yeah, let me do that. Before France revalued their currency, they had the 100 franc. This one has a B mint mark. They're hiding in the leaves. So that makes that a little bit of a rarer version of this coin. From Romania, with King, I think it's Michael or Mihai the First, King of Romania. About a year ago, I got several coins of this king, only to find out that he lived his life as an ex-king for, I think, over 60 years. But he was no longer king of Romania following World War II, and so that made for an interesting story, I thought. This is one of these larger Jamaican coins. From 1975, that's a 50 cents coin. Here's an old copper coin from Russia, 1877. It's a 3 kopeck. Then these 3 letters right here make your mint mark. Another coin, like all these, when I find it, it's well worn. But for a real well worn coin, I kind of think this one's going to be, just from what I can see of leaves on here, I think this is a United States large cent, but it's so well worn that I can't say for sure. Now, here's a coin that I've definitely never seen before. This is probably the oldest coin from Honduras I've ever seen. So, República de Honduras. And I actually paused to look this one up for a moment. This one is a 1 centavos from 1891. Then around the edge, pause for peace and progress and liberty. I've never seen these before. And just from looking it up, looking at the U in Republica here, apparently a couple of years they had some die errors where the U look more like an L, so it looks like República of Honduras. So that one is certainly a neat find. In the middle of the circle, we have a triangle, and so on newer Honduran coins, there is still the triangle with some things on the inside of it. That one's just so well worn that you can't get any more details than what we see there. So I went back and looked up this Panama coin, because I got a second one in here. Just as bad shape, both of them dated 1916. Just wanted to make sure these were not silver, and they're not. That is a copper nickel coin. Here's another copper nickel coin from India, featuring George V. This one is a 1/4 of an anna, dated 1936. So, pulling up the other coin that we had made out of copper nickel here, it would have taken 16 of these on the left to make one of these on the right. I went ahead and looked this one up. It was catalog KM 519, and I was right about this one being rare. That if it was even in fine condition, and it's worse than that, I guess this is good condition, but if this was fine condition, it would book for $10. So that's how rare this one is. And it's not even made out of silver. Well, this bag has had a lot of old coins in bad shape. Here's a newer coin in better shape. This one is going to be from Bangladesh. And so pretty much all Bangladesh coins will have this design on it on one side. This one is going to be a 10 paisa from 1980. This is an FAO coin, so it shows a family, a mother on the left and a father on the right, two children sitting in the middle together. So this coin was made from 1977 to 1981. This version is 1980, and in 1981 it was made at a reduced size. So finally something newer out of here. Here's a nice Japanese copper coin, another 1 sen, but I don't find as many of these. So I like that one. This Missouri sales tax token is about as gross as a zinc coin can get. It's practically turned all white. Here's a look of a coin from Pakistan. It's got the 1967, their crescent moon and star over the Tufra symbol. This one is a 2, and I probably had this coin, but this one's in rougher shape than I might typically see it. Now, I keep showing you a lot of coins in poor shape, and that does tend to be the older coins, but here's a coin that I usually find in rough shape from Haiti, but it's dated 1905. This one is going to be a 5 centimes. Here's a Canadian nickel in okay condition, George V. 5 cents, 1931. So that one's pretty decent compared to some of these other older grocer coins that we found. And I've found several more of the coins that I've already shown you, like the large Canadian cent and those Japanese cents. Here's an older 1896 Austria 2 Heller. Another coin from Bangladesh. This one is going to be a 25 paisa, paisa, featuring a tiger in the middle. Here's a Canadian quarter from 1968. That was the year that they stopped putting silver in dimes, and I couldn't remember offhand if they did that with quarters that year also. And so the quick way to tell is this coin is magnetic, so it is not going to have silver in it. I actually found 2 of these in here. Now, the one on the right is in much worse shape, but this one is going to come from Prussia. Had to stop and look it up because all these pre-German Empire coins always get me messed up. Different date and different mint mark, but it's a 3 Pfennig, a different way of spelling Pfennig, but 1861 to 1870. The A mint mark on the left is Berlin, and the B mint mark on the right is Hanover. So those are interesting. So that finishes up the first bag, and we've got a second bag to go here, and I'm wondering whether or not to split up the video. I do have some other coins to look up that we've touched on already, but I think we're going to just make this one long video today. And part of the reason I wanted to make one video instead of splitting it up is without fail, anytime I do want to value your time as a viewer, but every time I split them up, the second bag always ends up being a lot less interesting when I do that. And so I don't want that to happen again. And because, there might be a lot of things that overlap. Not this one. Here's one I thought I saw in the picture, but I didn't realize that it had a hole in it. This one is for sure a Canadian bank token because it says bank token on it. They 1 penny from the Bank of Upper Canada, 1854. This one's in, despite the hole, this one is in far better shape than I normally find this coin. So this was when British-controlled Canada could not get enough coins from Canada to satisfy demand, so the local banks would make their own coinage. So that one is another good one in here. So it continues the trend of old copper coins in rough shape, like that one. And I've passed over several more Canadian cents that I didn't bother to show to you. Here's a British. That one's from Iceland. This one is, what's this one going to be? Australia. So that one's pretty decent right there. I've gotten a bunch of these that were cleaned, but to get that one in that shape that is not cleaned, for me, is a win. Another one from France. Another one with a hole in it. Another one that looks like British, but could be a token, and I'm going to have to add that to the pile of stuff that I'm going to look up after we go through all this. So here's one from Greece from 1869. This one's going to be a 10 lepta. So that's nice. We've got another of these Prussian 3 Pfennig. That one's probably better than the one out of the first bag, so I like that. Digging through here looking for other interesting coppers. We've got another of these Greece ones from 1869, so that one may have been in better shape than the first one. From France, another of these. That one has the double B mint mark again. This Chinese coin is fake. I'm pretty sure. Just based, it just looks fake on there. So we've got a British halfpenny with George VI on it. Another British penny and another British penny with George and another British penny with George that's rusty. And then what's this one? Here's a Chinese cash coin. So this one is awfully corroded, but in this case I'll take corroded over very well worn, because I usually find this in a very well worn condition where you can't even see any details on it. But Taiching Tikuo copper coin. This one is probably going to be a 10 or a 20 cash on here. So very corroded on this side, but I actually like that one because I'd rather have that than something that's very slick. And then what is this? From 1901. This is a design I am not familiar with at all. Portugal, Carlos I. How have I never seen one of these from Portugal? It can't be that rare. So that's an amazing find out of here. Here's another, probably something else that would have been from a German country, maybe. That one's so well worn that you can't see any details on that. Here's another coin that I think is fake, and I say it's fake because of it looks like the. I'm not so sure on this one. Maybe that one's legit. It's one of these Thai bots that's in better condition than I usually find it. It's a Cuban 5 centavos that's all rusty and well worn. That one's kind of gross condition. New Zealand. I've been getting a lot of these lately, but I like that. I like those. Here is a 2 Malines from Egypt, a coin I always find incredibly well worn. And it looks like a date of 1330, maybe. Something about that doesn't quite look like the way I remember it. So add that to the pile of things that I'm not as familiar with. The 10 Paisa from India, 1966. Okay, that one's kind of well worn. There's another old Canadian cent, so penny. So it's not interested in that one. Got another one. So we've gotten about 10 of those Canadian cents so far. Some of them I pulled off when I had it paused. Here's a transportation token from Philadelphia. Then a larger coin from Yugoslavia, 10 dinar dinara from 1976. What's this? Half of a cent from Malaya. So we had a coin from Malaya and British Borneo earlier. Here we have the 1/2 of a cent featuring George VI. So that fits with the theme, a coin in bad condition that is rare. So that totally makes sense that I would find that in this lot. Aruba, 25 cents. Another from Haiti, 10 centimes this time. Maybe slightly better condition than the first one we saw. Another, this one's a Greek 5 lepta. That one's pretty rough. Another from France. That one has an N mint mark on it. All right, trying to see what else in here is rare. I like this one from Cyprus, 1963. Okay, I believe this one is called the Mouflon Ram. This one is a 100 mils. And some of the current Cyprus Euro coins have this same animal on it. So that one's a good find in here. In a lot of rough-shaped coins, to find something like that, I think is good. Another of these Greek 10 leptas. By the way, this is the coin that I was wondering if it was a silver, because all I could see was about that much of it, and the way it was in the light had a look of a silver coin, but obviously that is a copper coin. And then what is this tiny little thing? We've got 1/4 of a cruiser dated 1863. And so this could be almost any country that formed the German Empire. So I have to pause and look that one up. This one is from the Principality of Schwarzburg-Rudolstadt. The ruler at the time was King Friedrich Gunther. This is certainly a place that I've probably never heard of before. So that one's amazing. Rough shape, but amazing. I like the condition of this one, featuring Queen Elizabeth II. This one is from New Zealand. 1 florin from 1965. So I like the condition of that one. I like these 5 soles de oro from Peru. Kind of a plain on that side, but 1981. I like the look of those. And then I don't know that I've ever seen this coin from Mauritius before. Half a rupee from 1971. If I had one of these, I haven't seen it in a while. I saw this laying down on the table, and I just saw something like a moose or an elk or something and thought it was from India, but no, I don't recognize that. Here's another poor condition coin from Peru featuring Tupac Amaru. 10 sols from 1978. And another from Canada. And another of these from Canada. Got another British penny with a hole in it. Another with Victoria. That one's dated 1900. Another coin from Romania. This is when it was Socialist Romania from 1966. It's the one Lu, featuring a tractor on a farm in front of a sunset over the mountains. I don't think we've shown off any coins of King Edward the Seventh yet. So here we have a penny from 1902, and then 5 centavos of a Cordoba. Nicaragua coin from 1936. I like that one. Ecuador uses the United States dollar as their currency, but they also make their own coins, which are pegged to the U.S. dollar. So this one features Juan Montalvo on a 5 centavos, which would be worth the same as the United States 5 cents coin. I'm looking at this one just so if I can figure out what it is. That says spiel. I think that usually means play money. So I hope this is play money and not something real. And then going with today's theme of things you can't read. And well-worn. I don't know what this is, and I don't know if I'll be able to figure out what this is. This one is warped. There's just enough detail that I can see 2 out of every 3 letters on here, but not enough in a row to figure out what that is. I'm leaning towards it's a token and not a real coin. I see a date up here of 1863. This might be the word municipal. Depot. Brothers 70. That one I might never know what that one is. We had a well-worn Spain coin earlier in the video. This one has better details on it, so we can... it's probably the same coin. Maybe. Dated 1843 with Queen Isabella. This one is an 8 Maravedis, which was, I think, the largest copper coin they had at the time when they were using the 8 reals as their silver coin. That's a good one. Here's another coin I will probably never figure out. Oh, I take that back. That's a 1 sen from Japan that's made out of aluminum. This one it looks like a 1 cent from French Indochina. 1917. Indochina Française on this side. A little bit well worn, but that is a nice coin, I think. Has an A for Paris mint mark at the very bottom. This one's going to be from Egypt, I think. That was in pretty good shape. I'm guessing this one is a token because I don't see any denomination on it. Whatever it is, it's interesting. Obispa. Kind of has Mexican symbolism on this side, I guess. I wonder if this was glued to something. A different color look at the metal on here on the sides. Well, that's something I've never seen before. From Austria, we have this 2 Groschen from 1925. This next one is a really tough find. I think this side is up. And if you're wondering, is this from China or Japan? It kind of is both. This is going to appear in the catalog under China, Japanese puppet states. And so there was a time between the world wars where Japan was controlling a part of China. And specifically the area is Manchukuo. This is a 1 fin somewhere between 1939 and 1943. Any coin from that part of the book is going to be hard to come up with. I got the name of the Papua New Guinea currency wrong. I called it a kuna, I think. It's actually called a kina, K-I-N-A. There was one more German Notgeld coin in here, or in this case Kriegsgeld from 1919, a 10 Pfennig, so more locality money. This one is called their word for city looks like state. And I'm going to say that's pronounced Treuchtlingen. Treuchtlingen. And so we probably have the crest of the city on here. So to me that looks like a swan. The top left corner of that shield, bottom right corner might be a wolf or a dog. Castle at the very top, and I don't know, upside down tulips on the other 2 corners of that shield. So again, any of these Notgeld coins are very hard to find in good shape. So an iron coin being rusty is not surprising at all. Now this coin, early on in the video, I looked it up. This one's going to be from Egypt. It's a 20 para. Has a date of 1277. That's the year that the King Abdulaziz came to the throne. It's year 10 of that. So on our calendar, this is 1869. Features the tuffer that we see on a lot of countries that were at one point Ottoman. Let's go back to this coin from, it says Portugal on it, but I didn't recognize the designers of this coin. It's actually a place controlled by Portugal. This is actually one of the rare circulating coins from Azores. They only made these for 1 year in 1901. They also made a 5 that was very similar to it, about half the size. Now, the Krause catalog says in fine condition, which I don't think this is fine, I'd call it very good, says fine condition would be worth $2, but Numista says this coin in very good condition is worth $7. This is one of the ones I am the happiest about, probably one of the top ones. And before we leave, I wanted to come back and revisit this one. Now it's easier for me to see. It says Georgius on this side. So this one is probably King George III. On a halfpenny, although for all I know this could have been a counterfeit or some kind of token on here. It's really too well worn to tell for sure, but he would have ruled sometime between the 1780s to about 1820 or so, and our date is right here, and I can't really make any sense of that. All right, this one turned out to be quite an interesting lot on here. I'd say it turned out to be pretty great. Unless I come back and make notes on anything else that we looked at, that's all for today. So I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. I forgot, there are others that I wanted to go back and take a look at. This one is about the size of a halfpenny, and on this side it has the words halfpenny token written on it with the seated Britannia. Then looking on this side, it didn't look like a king, and seeing some branches that go across the bottom, that's not too common of something I've seen on some other official British pennies. Then I thought I saw the word victor or victory on this side. It's actually a Latin phrase that continues around to this side that translates to victory is ours. And then the person on the coin is supposed to look like a military general of some kind, but apparently is not a specific individual. At least no one can figure out who it is. These were meant to circulate in British-controlled Lower Canada and would have been made around 1810 to 1813. So it's pretty old on that coin or token. This one I had to type in a bunch of words till I could figure it out. In the middle of this coin is going to be the French coat of arms from the mid-1800s. The very top, it has the name of, this is an advertising token. So this would have been an advertisement for this company. At the very top, it's S. Steinfeld. And then at the bottom, it says sole agent for the United States, or sole agent for the U.S. And so what were they advertising? On this side, the very top, it says Principal Depot, a year of 1863, which is the year it was probably made, unless someone counterfeited this. Then in the middle, it says, of the French cognac, bitters, 70. And then at the bottom, Nassau Street, New York. So this company would have been a distributor for some French cognac. The only place you could have gotten it in the United States. All right, let's go back to this not Geld coin. In the Funk catalog, it's 453.6. This side of the coin, it says Trofterm, which translates to prison tower or guilt tower. So in other words, this one is or punishment tower is the other translation. So they're essentially highlighting a prison in their town. And the town is written on here. It's Rothenburg of Tauber, which is a city in Bavaria, a 25 Pfennig from 1921. So that one was certainly really cool. Very rusty like you usually find it, but I still like it. This one I just couldn't figure out. It looks like it says El Obispa o Monterrey Rex. So Obispa is the feminine form of bishop. Monterrey is a city in Mexico, and Rex is king. So maybe it is a monastery in Monterrey, Mexico. That's my best guess, but I couldn't find this after searching on it for a while. This side kind of reminds me of the Aztec calendar, but still wasn't able to come up with anything on that one. This might be the worst one to end on. This was the Chinese coin. I didn't know if it was real or fake, and I'm going to say that it's fake. Just by going to the catalog, I could find the top symbol on some coins, but the bottom symbol did not appear on any of the coins that I was looking at. So maybe it's just obscure, but I don't think that one's real. Well, now I guess I'll have a formal closing. That ended up being a wild mystery lot on here. I'm pretty glad I got this one. And so I will catch you in the next video. And so until then, bye.